quick, we are not where I thought we would be at this time, so we're going to move quickly through a couple of things. When you stand, we're going to read a verse, and then I want to offer to you, I think, some 4 keys as we conclude our conversation about this whole planted abiding thing. Here it is. Verse 5 from, this is John chapter 15, verse 5. Here we go. You want to say it with me? I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I remain in them, they produce much fruit. But without me, they can do nothing. Hey, can you go back to the front part? I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I remain in you. See, sometimes when I read that, or when I first read it, I thought, okay, if I choose to remain in God, and God chooses to remain in me, then this is the... And that's not true. Because it's about, if I choose to remain, if I remain in Him, and I allow Him to remain in me. There's a lot of opportunities we can crowd Jesus out of our lives, right? So I just want to make some clarification on that. All right, give your person beside you a high five and say, all right, sit down, buckle up, let's go. All right, here we go. Planted residual fruit. This is the last of our abiding conversation. I've had some fun with it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, Easter and then missions. And I'll tell you, the guy that's going to do the missions, he's actually a former children's pastor buddy of mine, Mike and Anita James. The guy's very funny. Not as cute as me, but he's funny. And it's going to be a good time. He's going to do a children's service while we worship. And then we're going to make him earn his honorarium. He'll hustle right over here, and he'll do the this service in here with us. And then we're going to start a new series called The Red Couch, all right? And it's going to be highly practical, and it's going to give us a lot of good handles on how to be a better husband. How many of you think there's room to improve the husbandries? All the wives are nudging. All right, men, we know that the wives don't need any attention or any effort because they're perfect already. But Lori's going to pitch a Mother's Day message, and that's going to be fun. And then we're going to just move on down the road, see how things go. Well, today, residual fruit. How many of you love residuals? Residuals are amazing, aren't they? You have a piece of real estate, and you allow somebody is paying the mortgage, plus you're getting a residual off that, or your investments, or you have an invention, and you've already put forth all the work at the front end, and the hard labors and the risks and the investment, but now it's kind of turned the page, and now you're getting some residuals. So much of the concept of abiding is a lot of us sticking to Christ. He's not leaving us. It's about you and I continually, consciously saying, I'm gonna stay with Him. I'm gonna demand my hope is in Him. And there's a lot of things in life that will try to detract us, right? Children will do that all day long. Sterling is amen in the back. See, those children become a distraction. They're whining. They make noise. They take you away from church. See, Lori's not at church because of our children. But there's a lot of things that will make new demands on our life that causes us to be distracted. And then we end up going, oh my goodness, where is God in my life? Oh, He's over there. And then we reconnect. So here's today, kind of the final concluding thought is this residual fruit. If you'll just stay with Him long enough, you're going to begin to generate some fruit that you didn't even generate yourself. It's just like, wow, where did that come from? I didn't know the thing that I did a year ago, or 10 years ago, or 40 minutes ago is already producing fruit, right? So it's residual fruit. What I know is about when we abide in Christ, He assumes this new role in our life. He assumes a role like the Father. I'm going to give you what is good for you. I want to give you the desires of your heart. Brandon went to San Antonio on Friday to go see the Alamo as part of the school field trip. And so I gave him $20, and he's like, Dad, San Antonio, there's a lot of meals, a snack. So I reached into a bank deposit envelope I had, and there was a $100 bill, and I said, oh, you want this, do you? And I waved this 100, and that kid has devil-like lightning skills. And it was fast. No, I'm teasing. Can you make him 100? So I go to reach it, and he's holding on to that thing like there's no, like seriously, if you pull my charger, we're going to rip it and have 250s. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. He says, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Now he has my 20 under his right cheek, and and he's holding a $100 bill. He says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll trade you the 100 for a 10. And I'm like, you little booger. So I did. I traded him a 10 from 100, and now I'm like, I'm out $30. You know, why did I give it to him and give in? Because I want to make sure that he has enough junk food on the way to San Antonio and back. You know, I don't want him to be the little kid on the bus while everybody else is getting soda and he's looking around for the Cheez-Its that weren't spilled. Or something. You know, I want to make sure he has everything that he needs. The Father does that for you. He's like, I want to make sure you're okay. I want to make sure you're good. So when we begin to entrust our lives to the Father, it frees us up to become more generous. Braden is very generous. He will not come home with any money. He may not spend it all on himself, but he'll help, you know, Elijah out. Or he'll help somebody else out. He just gives it all away. And I like that about him. I wish he'd be more generous with his money than my money. But what I know is he thinks Dad's an ATM. I just come to him and hug him or whatever, and then all of a sudden money comes out. You know, I think that's what he thinks. But because I am the Father, and he remains in me, he's connected. I'm like, to the very best of my ability, I'm going to feed you as much junk food money as I possibly can, son. Okay, so here's the point for us, you and I. We are free to be generous with our fruit as we remain in Christ, because Christ begins to generate within us, over a period of time, residual fruit. We're like, where did that come from? And that deserves an amen. Say it.
Amen.
Here's this quick story. I want to give it to you. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to be out of here. All right, here we go. I know you don't believe me. And I just reinforce every week. I reinforce that I don't tell the truth, but I'm trying hard today. All right, here we go. Genesis chapter 24. Are you ready? Verse 50 through 21. I'm going to read fast, so see if you can follow along with me. All right, you got it? Is this too fast already? Yeah. You guys good? All right, okay. Jim, nudge Bruce, wake him up. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Genesis chapter 24. Before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, blah, blah, blah. He came out with her water jar on her shoulder. The young woman was very attractive in appearance, a maiden whom no man had known. She was a virgin, okay? She went down to the spring and filled her jar, and they came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, please, give me a little water to drink from your jar. She said, drink, my lord. And she quickly let down her jar upon her hand and gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, and I will draw water for your what? Camels also. Camels also. And this guy's got some big humps. I have no idea how much water that's going to take to fill a hump. But until they had finished drinking. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw water. And she drew for all of his camels. The man gazed at her in silence to learn whether the Lord had prospered his journey or not. 4 attitudes for generating residual good fruit in your life. Now, the truth of the matter is we can have the same conversation next week. 4 attitudes for generating residual bad fruit. But let's just choose today that we're going to not produce bad fruit. We're going to produce good fruit. Say, good fruit.
Good fruit.
Here we go. Real quick. Number 1, don't keep score. Keep giving. Don't keep score. Keep giving. See, you can't be generous and legalistic at the same time, can you? Yeah. See, a legalistic person says, I'm going to do just what I have to do to get by. You said tithe? Okay. So I read Malachi 3:10 and a couple other places. They suggest 10%. I'm going to do 10%, and I'm just good enough. Or I'm going to love my spouse just enough to complement the vows that I have made. I'm going to work from 8 to 5, but I'm not going to work any extra. And at my lunch, by golly, I'm going to make sure when the bell rings, I go to lunch. When the bell rings, I'm back. You know, just enough. We live in this legalistic mindset. I'm going to do everything that I've been asked to do, but I'm going to do no more. You enjoy that kind of a relationship? It's one of those kinds, tit for tat. You know, if you do, then I'll do that. Okay. Oh, you were very kind to me today, honey. Thank you so much. And we mark it down, kind. So that's a point of kind column. And so then you've got to find something else out that afternoon. Oh, I gotta do a kind thing too. Oh, look at now we're even. At the end of the night we can erase it. We're back to 0. Yay for me. We've done just enough to make it happy, make it good. I'm just telling you, generous people are not legalistic people. Rebecca Rebecca what? She did more than she was required and expected. Her generous spirit was unusual, and her actions opposite of that of the Pharisees, right? The Pharisees, like, they had the yardstick. They go around and they measure the rules, the policies, the procedures. They had the list of the do's and the don'ts. And according to how well you could keep those rules, determined how good the propensity of greatness and good you were. So if he was able to keep all the rules, wow, he's so good. But by God, if you ate bacon on a Sunday afternoon, you're going to hell. You know, if you're, you know, if you didn't follow all of the rules, if you didn't pray to the length and they could hear, there's a lot of rules. But generous people don't keep score. They keep giving. Rules are important, I understand. I'm not a big rules fan. I usually find ways to not break, not make the rules just because I'm a bit rebellious. But my point is this, it's a condition of the heart. Are you generous? Are you willing to give? Or are you making sure you did just enough and now you're good? Generous people keep giving and giving and giving. It's the little black book, you toss it out. See, it says, beware of practicing. In Matthew 6, beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order that they can see your good deeds. For then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you as the, what? The hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their own rewards. But when you give to the needy, don't let your left hand and your right hand know what it's doing, so that your giving may be done in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Now, this conversation, it's not about your tithes, the Lord's tithes and your offerings. The conversation today is not about dollars and cents. Now, it's applicable, but it's truly about the condition of your heart. Will you have a generous heart? Because a generous heart is free of everything. A generous heart is free to love and is free to accept the burdens of your responsibilities, to carry the challenges that you have alongside. There's the Greek word for hypocrite, and I'm trying my very best to enunciate this. So if there's anybody in you who speaks Greek, I stand corrected. Here's my best effort. Are you ready? I even went online to hear it. It's called huokrites. Huokrites, okay? So again, I know that I probably destroyed it, but this is my best effort. And the word hypocrite is, the Greek is huokrites, and what it is, it's a picture of, during the Bible times, they would have those large masks. And there was a device inside the masks that would create an opportunity for them to amplify their voice. So they would put these masks on, and they would have these dialogues. The dramas were these dialogues of questions and answers. They go back and forth. They go back and forth. And they would lay out this wonderful story. Now, the reason we get the word huokrites is because they were hypocrites. They was creating what? They concealed their true motives by a cloak of make-believe. They had the masks. The person behind is not necessarily one represented in the mask. I know this is a silly illustration, but you get the point, right? It says, the one who doesn't keep score, but who keeps giving, isn't worried so much about the outcome. They take the masks off and they say, here I am. This is what I got. This is who I am. Now, that's not an excuse for being stupid and ignorant, right? Well, that's just the way she is. No, she needs to change some things. But it's about you being true to who you are, who God made you, and say, I'm gonna give generously to the very best of my ability, and not for somebody else to praise me. My motives are what you see. There is no secret, hidden agenda. When I first got married, I have to be honest, a lot of my agenda was I got to do everything I could to speed up the heating of this crock pot so that there could be some celebration later on. All right? If you've been in the marriage class, you know what I'm talking about. It was like, how could I do and give and love and serve so that way I could be justly rewarded? And then, as I grew in my relationship, I realized, you know what? It is so wrong. It's dirty. I felt bad that my motives were not as honorable as they ought to. And so, in my relationship now, I do it out of love. And then later on, there's a bonus. And it makes me very happy. And her happy too, probably. But my point is this. I better be careful. My point is, when we give generously from our heart, there's great, great, great rewards. What I know about legalism always leaves us feeling miserable and unfulfilled. You can do everything you're supposed to do and still feel empty and miserable. But when you do everything that you could do or you would do, or you should do. You live with love in a dimension that you've not experienced before, and it's fun. Verse 18 says, she said, drink, my Lord, and she quickly let down upon her hand and gave